toxic masculinity.
All right, well, that is it for the news. Dolly, you don't have anything to say about that, do you? All right, so let's move on to the questions and comments. If you want to say anything, now is the time. Speak to the world or to the... How many people do we have? To the 147 concurrent viewers.
And only 80 likes.
I'm sorry, what?
140 people watch us and 80 likes.
Yeah, what the heck, guys? Like, subscribe. Don't hit the notification bell because you'll get way too many notifications every day. But like and subscribe for sure.
First super chat from Andrew Beerward.
Oh, Frank James wrote, fat, remind you of anyone we know? Oh, that's brutal, Frank. I'm no longer friends with you. That's not... Frank just called me fat. So mean. True, though. True. All right, Darling, read, please.
Okay. First super chat from Andrew Beerward. Have your special event in Iowa. Have the butter cow presentation.
Yeah, I've talked to Andrew Beerward, and yeah, he loves Iowa. He thinks Iowa's great. I don't really know anything. I've never been to Iowa.
Me too. Yeah, no, we've never been.
It's very flat. That's all I know. But there's a lot of farms. But good people, from what I hear. Good people.
Oh, look. 18 likes, like 99. Now we have 98 likes.
Good job, Valeria. Valeria, get a little shout out.
99, almost 100.
Come on, who's going to hit 100? Who's going to hit 100?
I already hit my like button. Chris.
We're a little bit delayed, sweetie.
part.
Yeah.
Oh, 100. Okay, good.
There we go.
Okay, next super chat. From Rightful King of the Poles. That's interesting.
Oh, have the butter cow presentation. There's apparently a cow made out of butter every year at like the state fair or something like that in Iowa. That's what he's saying. All right, so sorry, this is Rightful King of the Poles?
Yes. Please have Valeria tell the DiCaprio story. Also, how ironic if a gun is what law takes out. How ironic if a gun is what law takes out. Hunter Biden gives his dad gun grabbing.
Given his dad's gun grabbing, right. Yeah, if the thing that finally takes Hunter out is this gun thing, and his dad's railing against guns, that's nicely ironic. Yeah, everybody appreciates that irony. You want to tell the story of DiCaprio? So Valeria worked on a show called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she got to know the whole cast and crew over there on that. She knows all. Like if we went, this is the weird thing about working in Hollywood, because everybody considers, I think, who's the guy who directed that movie? Tarantino. Everybody considers Tarantino like a legend, right? But like, it's weird to me to think that if we were like in a bar or a club or something and we're hanging out and Tarantino was there, he would recognize my wife.
And he would call me short Russian.
I think that's such a weird thing, right? You don't really think of people in movies and TV shows as recognizing you. But now that we've lived in LA for so long, there is a certain number of people who are famous that if we ran into, they would know who we are and we could have a conversation with them. It's very strange. It's not strange when you're doing it. Like back when I was in Hollywood working at Warner Brothers, you'd talk about celebrities and talk to celebrities pretty much every day, and you never really think too much about it. But now that I'm out of it again, and I'm looking at Hollywood as like a completely separate entity from me, it is a weird thing to think about. I don't... I'm not in it anymore. I don't really... but it's a completely different world. But yeah, the fact that people have way too much respect and revere Hollywood and actors way too much, I think.
So the story is, I worked on the movie and I know all of the... I see how all of the stars acting.
Yeah, because that was a lot of stars in that movie.
Yeah, and I just saw the contrast between like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. They're both stars. Everybody knows them. And DiCaprio, Brad Pitt was nice. He was like joking around. He didn't look like a guy who just... His wife just got divorced with him and like took 6 kids, you know. He was like just fine, but DiCaprio...
He didn't have the arrogance of a movie star,
but DiCaprio,
or that you would expect.
He was kind of like... We have this expression in Russia, like a star disease. If you have it in America, like
He had an attitude.
attitude. Like, he has this kind of attitude, like, oh, you all pieces of crap, and I'm this like famous,
Yeah.
actor. Like, I didn't really like find him.
I've never worked for Leonardo DiCaprio. I've never worked with him, so I can't tell you one way or another what I think of him. But I'll take Valeria's word for it.
But you can tell who is like nice and who is not.
But Valeria's favorite actor, the one that she got the closest to, physically and emotionally, was from the television show 90210, Beverly Hills 90210, if you remember that. And his name was... You want to tell him or do you want me to tell him?
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry. Yeah, that's right. So, funny thing about Valeria, she used to watch this show called Riverdale. It was a terrible show. I hated this show. It was on the CW, right?
I
CW?
love that show.
She loved the show. And the dad who played, the guy who played the Archie's dad, because it was like Archie from the Archie comics, but it was really a messed up show. But the guy who played Archie's dad was Luke Perry from old, Beverly Hills 90210 show. And Valeria didn't know who Luke Perry was or anything like that. She just knew him as the dad on Riverdale. Well, when she worked on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Luke Perry was in that movie. And Valeria had to play a character, well, she was a stand-in for one of the actresses in that movie. And
The problem is that I watched Riverdale
yeah,
after I worked on Once Upon a Time in
that's
Hollywood.
right. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so,
why I didn't recognize
but
him.
the weird thing about movies and TV shows and people in actors and stuff like that, they don't always look that much like their characters in the movies. Like I've met many actors and actresses who are much more attractive in real life than they are in, like Drew Barrymore. I've never thought Drew Barrymore was very pretty in movies and TV shows, but in real life, I ran into her once out in Hollywood. She was beautiful. Like in real life, she was beautiful. This is in the 90s or early 2000s. She was pretty young still. And yeah, I was just like, wow, Drew Barrymore is like weirdly beautiful, like far more beautiful than I would ever have thought from movies. And some people are like that. Some people look better in real life than they do in the films. But then other people don't look that good at all in real life. And in the movies, they look so much better for some reason. And you guys probably have seen this with people on Instagram or your friends. They take great pictures and they don't look that great in real life or vice versa. I take terrible pictures. I look terrible in pictures. But in real life, at least I used to be better looking. But with Luke Perry, for whatever reason, Valeria works with this guy. She knows him personally. And then she watches this show that she loves the show, and she never realized that it was the guy she knew. She never realized that, oh, I know that guy. She didn't recognize him. She just liked the show. She liked the dad on the show. And then Luke Perry died. Was it last year?
2019.
2019. So 2019, Luke Perry died. And I knew that Valeria knew him, And it was really sad. I mean, Valeria was very sad because she was like, oh, yeah, I knew he was really great. You thought he was great. What was he like on set? What was Luke Perry like on set?
It's very nice.
Yeah, good guy, good man. And
But
then
I think you need to clarify Valeria went physically this moment thing.
yeah, she had to hug him on the show. She had to hug him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like a long take, right? It was a long take. So you had to like be sitting there hugging him for like ages. So they got to know each other reasonably well. And then she watched the show Riverdale, and she's a fan of his as well as being a friend of
I
his.
didn't recognize him first because he wore so much makeup on because they aged him.
They aged him for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so when he died, it was a little bit heartbreaking for Valeria, but she didn't even know that she was a fan of his. I had to point it out. I was like, yeah, it's too bad. And he's, and she had the show on, and I was like, yeah, there's your friend. And Valeria's like, I never realized. I never realized until this moment. And it made me even more sad, which is even worse. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom Christopoulos writes, Hunter Wanted Variety. Oh, yeah, we already read that one. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, Tom. Otaku Magnet says, I live just north of Tampa. It's very conservative. Just south of Tampa is Sarasota. Look it up. It's beautiful. Okay,
Sarasota, I heard about this, yeah.
The Pharaoh King writes, for Valeria, you want to read this?
Yeah. For Valeria, so she has a reason to go pick up her phone and keep it next to her where it belongs.
You guys. Forbidden
Next-
chocolate, same thing. Go get your phone, Valeria. You people, how dare you stab me in the back like this? All right, let's see here. Okay, we got anything else? Oh,
Yep, that
Yeah.
was it. Yep.
Tom Chrysophilis writes, I recommend the variety diet. Okay.
I think I've recommended a variety diet.
Okay, speaking of diets, I'm actually doing this, I think I told you guys this Viome thing. I know I'm obsessed with it, but I haven't even tried it yet. I mean, I haven't got my results back yet. We haven't even mailed the sample out yet because Larry hasn't left the house, but when I do take the test, it's going to be a couple weeks. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
I wanted to do a lot of stuff today because I have a day off. I can like do this and that. And when I woke up and I see this immigration notches, I was
wrecked your
like,
day.
it completely ruined my day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just want to go to sleep.
She
and
didn't
wake
cry,
up, like,
but she
nothing,
was that close.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. It wasn't good. But we'll fix it. We will fix it, darling. All right, are we done for the show?
Yes, we are.
All right, guys, you are the best audience in the whole of YouTube, on the whole of YouTube. And we cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow and talk about more exciting, fun news. I thought we'd have more news today because the weekend, usually there's a lot of crazy stuff. But, yeah, it was a pretty tame weekend. But there is something about John Kerry. I was going to mention the John Kerry thing, but I didn't get to look into that news in more depth. I figured like it was a pretty big story, so that might come tomorrow. Looks like John Kerry was tipping off the Iranians about some stuff that was going on with Israel. So that could potentially be devastating to John Kerry's career. Not that he's... his career probably should be over by now. He's so old. But anyway, so we'll probably look into that tomorrow. Anyway, looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow, and have a great night. Valeria, you want to say good night?
Good night.
Good night, guys. All right, see you tomorrow. Toxic masculinity.